sons and daughters are going to go to war again.
100%.
And it's going to probably be for some bullshit reason to make the elites richer.
And I mean, look at the recruiting crisis that we're having right now. We can get into why that's happening. We have a recruiting crisis right now. That's out in front. Everybody's seeing that right now. That's in the news. But we're also provoking a war on multiple fronts. So just because we haven't had a draft in any of our lifetimes, like, that doesn't mean people still don't register for selective service. People still register for selective service. Like, people will say, hey, he's crazy, he's fear-mongering. I'm just saying, look at the facts. Look at how many conflicts we have brewing, plus our recruiting crisis here at home. Easily the law of unintended consequences. Like, we could get into a shooting war in one of these theaters pretty easily. So there's all these different pressure points where if one thing happens that we're not anticipating, or somewhat of a black swan event, we could easily be in a war, and you've got a depleted military. And so you're completely right when you say it could be your sons and daughters, because there's people who are like, oh, my kids aren't going to join the military. Like, well, they're still registering for the draft, aren't they? Like, that's the logical conclusion to the direction that we're heading in right now, unless we make some serious changes.
The Army, the Navy, the Air Force are all expecting to miss their recruitment goals by thousands this year. For the Army would mark a shortfall for the second year in a row. It's expecting 55,000 active duty recruits. That's 10,000 more than last year, but still below its target of 65,000. And it's not for a lack of trying. Branches of the military have recently eased up on restrictions on tattoos, pre-service marijuana use, and even physical fitness. According to an investigation by the Military Times, at least 1 in 6 recruits were given waivers to enter their service last fiscal year. That's the highest number in a decade. But officials say a bigger problem is a lack of interest. The Army's Vice Chief of Staff told lawmakers last month that for many people, military service seems like a life setback instead of a life accelerator.
Company, forward! Our military is in crisis, an overwhelming issue blatantly apparent in recruitment centers across the country, which, despite offering lucrative signing bonuses of up to $100,000 in tuition reimbursement opportunities for soldiers, spouses, and children, are still struggling to sign new soldiers.
Recruiting isn't up.
Over the past few years, the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines have struggled to meet their goals. In 2022, the Army missed that mark by 15,000 people, a full 25% short of its target. In 2023, the Army projects a 10,000 soldier shortfall. Likewise, the Navy wants to bring aboard 50,000 active duty and reserve recruits this year.
We are challenged by the fact that a small number of young Americans, 23%, are qualified to serve. Fewer still, we're finding, are interested in serving. And that's something that we are working very hard to change.
Former Green Beret John Spears fought in Vietnam. He points to a number of reasons why the decline is so significant.
Who makes that decision to join the military, that they're somehow taking a less desirable pipeline to success.
To meet its quotas, some branches of the U.S. military are making concessions for recruits who could have once been disqualified.
You are no longer a civilian.
Like the Navy, which may offer waivers to those with previous drug use, have a history of mental illness, or who scored low on aptitude tests if they believe their candidate could still be molded into a quality sailor. But the sudden acceptance of once considered subpar recruits begs a serious question.